We awoke changed. The anomaly unleashed within us, burning with power. Impossible power. Enoch robs us of our humanity, yet gives us so much more. Each step taking us further from what we were, and closer to what we must become.
WD Black. Fine-tuned for performance. Purpose-built for gaming to play without limits. Storage solutions with the capacity, speed, and reliability to win. WD Black. Drive your game.
Stand alone sometimes.
WD Black. Fine-tuned for performance. Purpose-built for gaming to play without limits. Storage solutions with the capacity, speed, and reliability to win. WD Black. Drive your game.
We awoke from one nightmare into another. Not on our dying Earth, but somewhere much worse.
Good guy's a dead one. A good guy's the one that brings the fire. Good guy's a dead one. A good guy's the one that...
We came to Enoch as our last chance, a chance at a new home. But what we found didn't save humanity. It consumed it. We awoke changed. The anomaly unleashed within us, burning with power. Impossible power. Enoch robs us of our humanity, yet gives us so much more. Each step taking us further from what we were, and closer to what we must become.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to Outriders Revealed. Today, we are going to blow the lid off of Square Enix and People Can Fly's third-person shooter and go in-depth and talk about everything that this game has to offer. I go by the name of Malik Forte, and I am so grateful to be joined today by People Can Fly game director Bartek Kamita and lead writer Joshua Rubin. How's it going, guys? So happy you guys could join me today.
Good to see you,
Ready
man.
to talk about this game. First off, though, I got to ask you guys, how's it feel to finally be able to tell everybody about this, tell the world about what you've been working on?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, this is our first game since we left Epic Games. So it's really big moment for us. So we are super excited that we can share all about the game with the world.
Yeah, it's crazy. It has been a while since we've seen a game from People Can Fly. You guys are primarily known for your shooters. So tell me, what is it that constitutes a good shooter game, in your opinion?
In my opinion, the good shooter is made from many elements, like enemy behavior, level layout, pacing. But I think the most important part is when you press the trigger and you feel this almost tangible feel of the gun, this impact it has. That's what makes the great shooter.
We've already seen the first trailer that's out, and it's been revealed, so we kind of have a little bit of an idea of the story and what to expect with Outrider. But I'd like to know from your mouth, Bartek, the director's pitch for Outriders. So sum it up for us.
Sure, it's 1-2-3 player, co-op shooter with brutal powers, deep RPG mechanics, and strong story.
And while we're on the subject of story, that's why we got you here, Joshua. You've got quite some credentials on you. You co-wrote Assassin's Creed 2. You worked on Destiny, Game of Thrones, Walking Dead with Telltale Games. So you're all about big story and big characters. How was it bringing that here into this game?
That's amazing. I mean, it's amazing working on great IPs, but to get to invent an IP, to get to build a whole new sci-fi world from a blank canvas. I mean, you know, for creatives like us and our team, I mean, that's a dream job. We, you know, basically started from zero. We created 100 years of lore, you know, going back to like, you know, all of the seismic conflict that destroyed our planet. The colonization of a new planet, working with these incredible scientists to know how that would really happen, to how it would then go disastrously wrong. Because, I mean, you've seen the trailer, you've played the game now, you know this is a dark game. I mean, and that was really important to us in building the shooter, that we wanted to build a game that was not clean sci-fi.
Right.
This is a brutal, nightmarish world that you're going into.
Yeah, you're not lying about that. And I've consumed quite a bit of sci-fi in my time, from games to movies and stuff. This one takes the cake as being one of those darker stories. But you know what? I feel like right now, everyone else, I want to get them in the same frame of mind. So we're going to show a little bit more here. We got a nice video for you guys to check out. This right here is World and Story. Check it out.
We came to Enoch looking for hope. A fresh start on an untouched planet. Then, we found the signal. So we set out to discover its source. That was our first encounter with the anomaly. When the storm struck, the Outriders were forced back into cryo-sleep. While we slept, the anomaly raged, and the creatures of Enoch advanced. 30 years later, when we finally woke, the world had changed. But so had we. With our advanced technology rendered useless by the anomaly, a successful colonization wasn't possible. But after all these years, the signal is still out there. And at its source, a chance to find answers. To start again.
Okay, all right. So there was a whole lot to digest there in that trailer. So, all right, let me recollect a little bit. Wait a second, let me recollect. So humanity leaves Earth. Then the Outriders go to Enoch, the new planet Enoch. They're the first to land there. And then they discover a mysterious signal, and then everything goes to hell. Am I right about that, Josh?
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
you can sort of imagine that, you know, this is the last gasp of humanity. Earth is gone. And these 500,000 refugees are on this Ark ship to this lush, green new planet. It's a second chance for humanity. And the Outriders are like the vanguard of this crew. They're the first ones to land on the planet, first boots on the ground. They're the ones who are going to be the mercenaries and explorers that kind of begin this colonization process. But then they get their first taste of the anomaly, and yeah, everything goes to shit.
Really? Okay, I'm interested to know more about the anomaly, but first I need to ask you, what's the signal? Because there was a big, point in that trailer. There was a big plot point. So what is the importance of the signal? Can you guys tell me?
This thing we cannot tell because because it's one of the biggest mysteries of this planet.
No spoilers.
But it's important. It's the reason for a player to start a journey.
Okay, so it's the motive for the players to figure out what that signal is. And what's the anomaly? What is that?
I can tell you this. You first see it, as you did in the trailer, as this storm that kind of throws everything we know about physics upside down, time, gravity. When if you get hit by the storm, most people it just tears apart, but some people get rebuilt. They come back as gods. And this is what happens to you, to your Outrider. When you wake up 30 years later, you discover that the flora and fauna of this planet has been hyper-evolved. These little critters that were really cute at the beginning are not so cute anymore. And your whole DNA has been rebuilt. And you are now what they call on Enoch, the Altered.
Wow. All right, so the anomaly is essentially what's giving everyone their powers, right?
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I also saw in that trailer, there were a couple more humans that looked like they had some abilities as well, some powers per se. Is it safe to call them altered as well? Are they villains? Are they bad guys? Like, who are they?
They are altereds. That's
Okay.
okay to call them, but not villains. We are trying to avoid overall using villains and heroes, good guy and bad guys. Overall, we try to make a universe when everything is quite colors of gray.
Yeah,
Yes.
morally, everyone is morally questionable, from you to the people you're fighting.
Yes.
Right.
And really, the whole world is trying to kill
Exactly.
you.
And the same with alters you will meet during your journey. Some of them will be maybe against you, some of them maybe will help you.
Right. So it's not really just that cut and dry. Well, if it's good or bad, everything's kind of just basically subjective toward the player. That's pretty cool. All right. So I want to talk a little bit more about what we saw in that trailer as far as the Outriders that we saw. Is that who I'm going to be playing as?
You can, but
Yeah.
you can also create your own Outrider because we have a customization options. So you can choose if you want to be a female, man, if you want to choose what kind of hair you want to wear, what kind of markings, scars. So it's up to you what you want to play.
I play with a mohawk and a big-ass beard.
That seems like what I would imagine that's kind of like how you feel inside. Like
Yeah, if I could grow a mohawk again, I promise I would.
So it's cool. It's cool that you don't have to play as the Outriders you saw in that trailer. I think that's really important for everyone to know. You can create your own character. That's some
And not only
customization.
that, but we have these incredible actors playing both the male and female versions of the main character. So you get really your own unique version of Outriders when you play.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So when you create your Outrider and you're out there and you're playing co-op with your friends, how does that work? And how does it work when you're trying to tell a story, but you have 3 people all playing in the same game?
It's really cool, actually, because we've got about 90 minutes of cutscenes and about 2 hours of additional side quest cutscenes. And it's epic. And in every one of those cutscenes, your character, with all of your gear and customization, you are the star of that scene. But your buddies are in the scene with you in the background with their gear and customization. And what's really cool is that when they see the same cutscene at the same time as you do, they're the star of the scene. And you're in the background with all your gear and customization.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. So everybody gets to represent or be represented in their friend's game as well as their own. And I think that's cool. You get to be the star of your own game, but the supporting star in everyone else's.
At the same time,
Yeah,
exactly.
at the same time. That's really cool. I want to know a little bit more about the story because I feel like that trailer gave us a good taste for the grim and the dark environment and atmosphere that you're getting ready to enter. But where does it go beyond that? Does it get darker?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
I would say it's kind of a classic journey to the heart of darkness. It's got like a real 1970s Apocalypse Now vibe.
Yeah.
And you, as you go in search of the signal, you are leading this caravan through this war-torn wasteland. And you go all the way to the very edge of civilization and beyond. There's a whole world out there to explore, and it's filled with history and mysteries that we are only just beginning to touch on in this first game.
Speaking of which, is there any more you can tell us about Enoch? Because I feel like we kind of got a taste for how dark it can be and how lush it can be at the very same time. Is there any more you can expound upon?
I think overall, I think that Enoch is one of the protagonists of this game.
Yeah.
He's almost like a character in the
Oh,
game.
really?
Yes. So it has so many mysteries and so many secrets you will have to discover.
And it's big too. I mean,
it's
that's
big,
what I
yeah, it's
really
epic.
love. That it goes from like the mud and the grit of what feels like like almost a World War I on an alien planet.
just the beginning, yes?
Yeah, but then beyond that, you go past the edge,
But
and there are forests, and there are mountains, and there are deserts, and each of these places is bigger than the last. And it's not an open world. I think that's important to say. But it's more of a hub and spoke structure. So you go with your caravan, and when you land in these places, that becomes your core, and then you move out from there in every direction, getting to explore and find more and more.
Right, very cool, very cool. I like that. I like that because you guys are using these RPG elements to tell this story, and the story appears to be vast. So I can't wait to jump in, and it's just so intriguing to hear what you guys have to say about it. But while we're on the subject of RPG elements, I think it would be cool right now to dive a little bit deeper into what those exactly are. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the RPG elements in Outriders.
As we venture across Enoch, we discover a violent new world. While we slept, those that survived the anomaly did what they could to carve out a living, and something resembling society took shape. We scavenge for weapons and armor, and trade what little resources we have in order to give ourselves a fighting chance of survival. We engineer vehicles from scrap and set out towards the horizon. And as we push farther into the unknown, our powers grow, alongside our knowledge of how to use them. But as we start to understand our power, we discover there are others who have paid a heavier price.
Oh man, guys, there's a whole lot of fun happening in that right there. So much stuff to talk about, but I want to break down some of the RPG elements that I'm seeing here because this looks like a lot, man. Do you think people are going to be surprised with how robust the RPG elements in Outriders are?
I think they will be, because on one hand we double down our expertise with shooters, but then we add a lot of elements that are more common with action RPG games, not with the shooters.
Okay, so you say common. What are some other traditional RPG elements that you guys added into Outriders?
Okay, so I think in our game the most common and traditional elements are the side quests, the skill tree, the classes, of course the loot and the rarity of it.
Right.
Now, all of you like in the RPG games we have in our game.
Right, right. And lots of customization, it looks like, as well, too.
Oh, yeah. Everything can be customized.
Right. Well, one thing I noticed, you guys were customizing an Outriders truck in that trailer, too. Well, tell me about that. What is this Outriders truck, and what can I do with it?
Outriders truck is basically your home. Yeah. So when you are moving somewhere, you're taking your truck with you and your friends that will join this truck and your journey. But the funny thing is when you join your other colleague to play multiplayer game, then you create a convoy of trucks.
Important to say probably that you can't drive the trucks. By the way, the trucks are kind of your home.
You have your own driver, so you're the boss here.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, well, I'm an Outrider. I don't need it. I have my own driver. I don't need to be doing the driver.
Exactly.
I got fighting to do.
Exactly.
You can customize, of course, and what's more, you can add some trophies to this truck to show off what you have done in the game. How is your progress going?
So if you kill a big-ass monster, you can put his head right on the front of your truck.
Yeah,
That's cool.
And it's really cool too, because like then when you're with your friends, like, and you're this convoy, when you come and you create a hub at a place that you land, you kind of create almost like a circle, like a wagon circle.
Yeah.
You know, and like all your buddies are there, and also your characters are there. Your NPC core convoy characters are there, and they can do things like, you know, upgrade your weapons and repair things.
Prepare the new loot for you. So you can do side quests for them to more familiarize with them. You can chat.
Yeah, you can actually sit around the campfire and hear stories about old Earth.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So a bit of a safe space for you and your buddies, right? Talk a little bit more about hub areas, because you have that one with your convoy, but like, are there towns and cities where you can kind of camp out too?
Yeah, there are these settlements that you come across where after the failed colonization of Enoch, the survivors have kind of gathered in these, you know, crags and rifts of safety from the storms and the endless war, and kind of eke out this survival civilization. It feels very gritty, very real, but there's real lives going on there, and you can get involved in these side quests. You know, you can help people with their stories. People are not so nice. That you find, and there's vendors, right, that have these really unique items you only get in these specific locations. So yeah, and each of these are a hub as well that you find yourself in.
Right. I noticed when I was playing, actually, too, I was in one of the towns. I think it was Rift City, I believe I was in. Rift Town. Yeah, I was there, and I went up to the vendor, and there was some pretty nice gear there in his shop. It was like almost I wanted to buy it, but I didn't have enough scrap to get it. But since we're on the subject, I want to talk more about the gear in this game because there's like a ton of gear from what I saw. How many weapons are in this game?
A lot.
There's so much, so much. Yeah,
And we're so
it feels
proud
unending.
of them
Right.
because they're super cool.
Yeah, there's incredible artists.
Cool looking
working on
armor
this
too.
game.
Like
Yes, because on the beginning you will start with something that we will have to scavenge.
Yeah.
But the more you will progress, the more brutal, the more crazy the guns will become.
Yeah, there's this amazing sense of like the first guns that you're using really are like, you know, like World War I, World War II, really heavy ballistic artillery that feel like you've, you know, built them, you know, out of just crap that you found,
Yeah.
right? But as you go further into this world and deeper, you get these really otherworldly weapons. I mean, there's this one that, I don't know, my favorite is like this one that's like this molten lava gun that's like morphing in your hand as you're blowing the shit out of people. It's really cool.
Overall, we wanted to reflect the true items, the world and story around us. So we are moved from the lasers, plastics, and
Yeah,
just
no
kind of-
lasers.
Yeah, no lasers. To
No
have more
lasers.
ballistic,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
kinetic, heavy.
Yeah, we're keeping it old school here.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
good here, but the more we progress, the more crazy stuff will become.
Right, right. Well, you can modify these things too, right? The gear goes in the color coding when you're looting. Is it similar to like other
Yes, very
RPGs?
traditional. We are using rarity, so you know the more rare item, the more powerful it will be. The
Okay.
color coding is very similar because we want to, for the elements that are working good, we don't want to change them because
Right.
people will be not lost at
Right.
the beginning of the game.
Right, and there's a common familiarity with that amongst gamers. So in the vein of customization and enhancing my character, I want to know a little bit more about the skill trees that I saw there. Could you tell us a little bit more about that, Bartek?
Sure. So when you level up, you're acquiring points you can spend on the skill tree. And through skill tree, you are changing how your character behaves on the battleground. So you can become more powerful, your skills can be more important now than guns, or maybe you like guns more than skills.
Right.
Or maybe you want to change your speed or how you behave in the cover. So all of this together,
Right.
through whole the gameplay, will define how your end game build works.
Cool. So I can like increase my health.
You can increase your health, you can increase your damage. So it all synergize together. So you have to choose your own perfect way through it.
That's cool.
It's very important that each class has his own separate skill tree.
Right. So basically, you can differentiate your character and make it according to your play style. You can just fine tune it.
Exactly.
Awesome, dude. That's awesome. That's awesome. And I imagine that works really good with what we're getting ready to talk about next, which is the classes and the powers. I guarantee you guys, this is the section you've been waiting for. We got a little video to show you first, and then we're going to deep dive into this stuff. Check it out.
Many threats stand between us and the source of the signal. Those of us who survived exposure to the anomaly moved beyond our physical limits. We've become altered. As pyromancers, we manipulate explosive volcanic energy and devastating walls of flames. As tricksters, we manipulate the fabric of time and space to take our enemies by surprise. And as devastators, we shatter the earth around us, a brute force powered by the planet itself. And so our journey across Enoch begins. To discover what lies at the heart of the signal.
All right, everybody, this is the part of the show I'm pretty sure you've all been waiting for. We're getting ready to break down these classes. You just saw the Pyromancer, the Devastator, and the Trickster. But to my knowledge, there's four
One
classes?
thing, yes, there is 4 classes.
Yeah.
Right now we will reveal only 3 of them.
Okay.
One will be secret.
Okay, so how do these 3 classes work?
Trickster is assassin type, time and space, for everyone who likes a lot of movement around the arena. For people who like to go behind the enemies. Next one is Pyromancer, a lot of damage, but you like array of effects, a lot of fire, that's for you. The last one is Devastator, guy for like to fight on the short range, guys who like to be tanky, buffy, maybe a little bit reckless, but that's for guys who really up and personal.
That's for me.
That's for you?
basically. For guys like me who just like to run straight into the action without consulting his teammates.
Okay.
That's me. I love it.
No, I'm totally the guy who I'm time and space, right? Like I'm the trickster. I like to all right, so there's this really cool thing you can do. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna take over where you like set your like teleport exit, right? And then you sneak up and you teleport in right behind all of the fuckers and you do this like temporal slice thing that like freezes their bodies and then they become translucent. You see their skeletons like dissolve inside and then just as the big motherfuckers coming at you, boom, you're out at your exit point. It's so nice.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I want to see. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to jump into some gameplay.
Yeah.
How's it sound?
Let's do this.
All right, let's do it. Let's jump in. All right, so paint the scene for me. Where are we right here?
This is the war zone. When your Outrider first wakes up from cryosleep, it's right into this hellhole. And basically the idea is that one of the aspects of the anomaly is that it kills all electronics more complicated than a light bulb. So humanity has been reduced to sort of pre-World War I technology. So that's what this feels like. It's like trenches and tanks, but on an alien planet. The enemies you're fighting, these are the insurgents who are you're the ECAs at war with.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't call themselves that. They call themselves the Exiles. And understanding the whole tragic story behind this war is a big part of the mystery that you're solving.
Right now, we're looking at the trickster. Am I correct in saying that?
Yep, yeah, the trickster. Yeah, so now we see the temporal slice, so first ability.
Yeah.
You see that you are slowing everyone and later killing them. Right now this is slow trap, so
That's really cool.
you are fast, but you can even slow down the enemies, which makes you even faster.
And
That's cool.
In the bullets going in slow motion inside that bubble, you're like totally Neo.
Yeah, but Neo couldn't slow down the jeeps, so if you explode someone, his body parts will fly over in slow motion.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I noticed that your health was low. How did you heal, though?
You're receiving some part of the health through your assassination.
It's that whole idea of doing damage is what gives you your health back.
Wow. And this right here is the Devastator, correct?
Yes, that's your favorite class.
Yes.
So the
this is my
reckless
class
guy.
right here. This is who I'm going to play.
Here we are healing when you are close to the enemies and we are killing them. So the more enemies around you, the better. And the skill we are seeing is the Earthquake. So basically it's like a better shotgun.
Okay.
So you can synergize it together and kill a lot of enemies in the close combat. The next skill we see right now is the basically armor. It's a golem.
Oh, that's
you
cool.
are changing into the almost indestructible guy,
Yeah.
so you can even be more close and more tanky and more buffed.
That's exactly what I need.
Yeah,
I need to be
exactly.
more tanky. Oh, man, I like it. I like how his skin is like rock solid and everything, or
Yeah.
his or her, depending on which way you decide to go in customization. This is one of the hub areas you were talking about earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Is this Rift Town?
Rift Town, yes, it's a Rift Town.
Yeah, this is one of the first large hubs in the game you come to. Basically like after the anomaly storms have destroyed the first city and the monsters have started coming and the insurgency has started rising, those who are loyal to the ECA have retreated into this rift for protection. This is like one of the first places on Enoch where a kind of civilization has survived.
Right.
Survive. Trying to survive.
Survive-ish.
Yeah, it is a harsh, broken world
Yeah.
that you find in this place.
Yeah.
But it's also the first time in the game that you really get to slow down and start to kind of explore and start to kind of unravel some of the mysteries that are a key part of this game.
Yeah. It feels desolate but hopeful at the very same time. So how does the loot system work? I'm noticing there's vendors. Can I buy and sell things with the vendors, like gear or whatever?
Yes, overall you are finding a lot of stuff in the world.
Yeah.
You can scrap, you can destroy, so you can receive money for it. So our money is called scrap, basically.
Oh, okay.
And then if you have bad luck, let's say, in the world finding the cool loot, you can buy it through the vendors. Or maybe you are missing some item that you want. Or maybe there will be some mod you want to purchase. You can do this through scrap.
All right. All about that scrap. Keep it in your pocket. How do I move from one environment and get to the next?
So the story's carrying you forward and the journey is really important, and every time you kind of move, you open up a whole new area adjacent to your hub. And once you've captured an area, so to speak, you can fast travel in between them.
Oh, is that what that flag Penguins
Yeah,
right there?
Yes, that's
exactly.
what it's like.
Ah, got
Yeah.
it, got it. Okay, that makes sense. Where are we here?
So this is the first city that I mentioned earlier,
Okay.
which is now totally in ruins.
Yeah, I was
This
gonna say
is-
city. I don't see a city.
It was supposed to be. This was sort of like the place that the colonization started.
Right.
That huge thing that we saw on the horizon, like dominating the skyline. So that's the engine of the Ark ship that brought us here. And the whole idea of the colonization plan was that was going to be our nuclear energy source that would power the city. But then the anomaly hit, and that thing melted down, and it irradiated half the city. And those who could escaped into Rift Town, and those who couldn't, the exiles, were trapped out here. So this is now home base of the insurgents that you're moving into. You're moving into their territory now.
And okay, I guess we're moving on here to the Pyromancer. This is a lot of fire.
Yeah, this is Pyromancer. All is about the fire and ash.
This place is filled with enemies. It's filled with really dangerous monsters.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, that thing. Those things are really fucked up, man.
You are not fighting only with humanoids here.
I was
in
gonna
this
say
game,
there's more
yes.
than human enemies.
Remember what we said on the beginning, that whatever anomaly touches, it changes.
Yeah.
So those are the creatures that mutated from the peaceful creatures. Now they
cute
are not.
cuddly
No,
indigenous
there is no
creatures.
cute creatures anymore here. Because you are powerful, you are almost godlike with your skills.
Right.
But the threat is even more dangerous. So you have to fight with really, really nasty creatures in your journey.
Oh man, all right, that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun. I'm not like into shooting creatures unless they're like really scary.
They're really,
so
really
this
bad.
is right up my alley right here. I gotta love the classic tease of the gigantic boss battle at the end.
Yeah, and
that's
that
perfect.
kick-ass gun too.
Yeah, right. And that gear right there is badass. Is that kind of the gear that you get toward the end of the game?
Oh yeah, this is a game that is about going on a journey to solve an amazing mystery and getting some really kick-ass gear.
Yeah.
No question about it. The place you start this game is so far from where you end up. You go from playing as a human to something way beyond. You leave humanity behind.
Yeah, leave humanity behind. That's kind of how I feel sometimes when I watch the news. I'm like totally for that sentiment. All right, guys, and that about does it for the Outriders Revealed stream. The world's press and media, they've already played the game, and right after the stream, they are going to flood the internet with the content of all their playthroughs, so make sure you check that out. And guys, thank you so much for your time sitting here and chatting with me, and I cannot wait to play the game. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more you guys are going to reveal between now and when the game comes out, which is later this year. So guys, if you want to know all the updates that are happening with this game, make sure you check out Outriders.net. And with that, guys, thanks again for your time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate the chat, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.